Verse 12, for the word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and spirit, of joints and marrow. So what are we talking about there? It specifically talks about the word of God dividing. Where does the word of God divide? The word of God divides starting in Genesis 1. God said, let there be light, and he divided the light from the darkness. God said, let there be seas and land, and he divided the seas from the dry land. God in the creation spends the first chapter of Genesis dividing things, and the mechanism that he uses to divide things is his word. God speaks and things are divided. So the first place we see the word of God causing division is in Genesis 1. Now, how would that then translate with respect to an individual? Look what we got here. You got soul, spirit, and then joints and marrow. I will gently suggest that we're talking body, soul, and spirit there. In what sense then does the Word of God divide body, soul, and spirit? I will suggest that a baby is all appetite. Baby does not have a lot of spiritual sophistication. Baby just, wants what the baby wants. When it's hungry, it cries. When it's uncomfortable, it cries. When it's frightened, it cries. When it's happy, it gurgles. They rapidly develop a personality, but there isn't initially a whole lot of spiritual connection there. That develops over the years. So what you're doing is you are dividing the spiritual part of yourself from the clay. You got the spirit, which connects to God. You've got the body, which connects to the ground. The soul is the connection between those two. So you have the body on one side that's trying to have its way, and the body is appetite. Wants what it wants. It's hungry, it's thirsty, it wants to do whatever it wants to do. Theoretically, the spirit should be connected to God. The soul in between is the battleground, because the soul in between is what makes the decisions as to which direction you go in any specific circumstance. And so the body is pulling on the soul, saying, come on down here where it's fun, and let's satisfy our appetites. The spirit should also be pulling on the soul, saying, focus up here. You have this constant tug of war between spiritual and physical. And what I will suggest that this passage is saying is the Word of God effects a separation, so that the spirit can in fact turn and cleave to God and can then come back and work with the soul to get the body into proper submission. Now, that isn't to say that the body's bad. It's not. The body is good. God created it. You need one. When you go through the resurrection, you're going to get another one. Nothing wrong with the body, except initially it is tied to the earth because it's made of the clay. So it needs to be trained, educated, brought into submission to the spirit and the soul so that it performs the function it was designed to perform, instead of driving the train and dragging everybody down to the earth. What I think the author of Hebrews, who I think is Paul, is saying here is the function of the Word is to affect the separation.